Families of the victims of the Ejira shooting have appealed to the leadership of Parliament for funds to be made available in the 2022 budget to address the unfortunate ramification of the incident. They want the leadership through the Defense and Interior Committee to direct the Finance Minister to make provisions for allocation of funds to compensate affected families. In a letter dated December 12, 2021, addressed to the Speaker of Parliament and copied to the Interior Minister and Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament, the families also demanded that appropriate funds be made available to address the recommendations of the committee that was set up to probe the incident. The appeal from the families of the victims is coming at a time when the House is considering the budget statement and the proposed allocations to the various ministries and agencies. According to the families, it is their hope that as the House deliberate over the budgetary appropriations, it will consider making provision for appropriate allocations in the budget to address the ramification of the incident. The president, Nana Addo, has once again touted his government's achievements. President Akufo-Addo insists that his government has chalked more success than any other government in the Fourth Republic. According to him, his government has spent more money to improve the circumstances of the citizenry in the areas of education, health, industry, agriculture, infrastructure, among others. Speaking at the NPP National Delegates Conference in Kumasi on Sunday, December 19, 2021, President Akufo-Addo said he is very proud to have led a government that has brought this much achievement to the country. He thus charged all members of the NPP to be proud about this and also let Ghanaians know the good works of his government. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo had earlier admitted that Ghanaians are going through hard times. He, however, failed to take responsibility for the hardships faced by Ghanaians. Ghana has signed a pact with 3 other countries in the Ecowas region to start a joint fishery observer and monitoring program in 2022. The 3 countries are Togo, Benin, and Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire, however, did not sign the pact during the moment Ghana, Togo, and Benin signed it. The Joint Observer Program is aimed at ending illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing practices in the Ecowas regions bordering the seas, known as Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea. The FCWC was established in 2007 to promote and facilitate cooperation in fisheries management between the FCWC's member countries, Ghana, Togo, Nigeria, Liberia, Benin, and Côte d'Ivoire. The FCWC exists, among other things, to enhance governance capacity through sub-regional and regional cooperation. Telecommunication companies in Ghana and their mobile money operators have come to terms to reduce the charges on transactions by 25% following the possible introduction of the electronic transaction levy, commonly called e-levy. The decision by the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunication and the mobile money operators such as Airtel Tigo Mobile Commerce Limited, Airtel Tigo Money, and Mobile Money Limited, MTN, was taken after extensive deliberation with the government on the need to lessen the impact of the new tax on consumers. According to a press statement issued by GTC, it noted that, quote, "We acknowledge the need to expand the tax base. However, to reduce the overall impact of the new levy on consumers, MTN and Airtel Tigo have agreed to a downward revision of their P2P, person-to-person transfer fees by up to 25%, depending on the respective operator. Vodafone currently has no charges." The Bank of Ghana has announced that the Economic and Organized Crime Office, after investigations into specific cases of suspected financial crimes, has advised the Attorney General to prosecute the shareholders, directors, or management of the defunct savings and loans companies, finance houses, and microfinance institutions. The central bank, in a statement issued on Friday, December 17th, said in its public notices in 2019, announcing the revocation of licenses of certain defunct savings and loans companies, finance houses, and microfinance institutions, the BOG cited a number of potential criminal actions on the part of these institutions and their shareholders, directors, or management, as the case may be. Following further investigations into the failure of these institutions by the receivers appointed by BOG, these cases were referred to EOCO for advice. EOCO has conducted independent investigations into a number of these cases and has made recommendations to the Attorney General's Department for consideration and possible prosecution. The government is projecting the creation of over 280,000 jobs with the operationalization of all the 278 factories under the One District, One Factory policy. According to the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Chermantin, over 153,000 direct and indirect jobs have been created as a result of the 106 factories currently in operation. A number of factories over the period have been commissioned under the initiative. Quote, "The 106 factories that are currently operational have created a total of 153,782 direct and indirect jobs. It is expected that when the additional 148 projects currently under construction are completed, the cumulative number of direct and indirect jobs created will increase to 288,599, he noted. The policy is one of the flagship programs by the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led government. The president, Nana Akufo-Addo, had earlier said the initiative has come to stay. According to him, the initiative holds the key to Ghana's industrialization agenda. People across Sudan have joined mass protests over the military's takeover as they mark the third anniversary of a popular uprising. Hundreds of thousands have marched in the capital, Khartoum, where security forces responded with tear gas. Demonstrations in 2019 led to the overthrow of Sudan's long-term authoritarian President Omar al-Bashir. Civilian and military leaders then entered an uneasy power-sharing agreement until the coup in October. Last month, the country's ousted Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok was reinstated after being put under house arrest in the military takeover. But the move has failed to stop protests in the country, where demonstrators have been calling for an entirely civilian political leadership. At least 208 people are now known to have died after a powerful storm struck the Philippines on Thursday, police are quoted as saying by local media. Super Typhoon Ray, with winds of about 195 kilometers per hour, sent some 300,000 people running for safety when it hit the country's southeastern islands. At least 239 people were injured, and 52 others have been reported missing by local police. Rescue teams have described scenes of complete carnage, but establishing the scale of the losses is difficult, as communication to a number of areas has been cut off. There are fears widespread landslides and flooding may have claimed more lives. Quote, many areas have no power, no communication, and very little water, the chair of the Philippines Red Cross, Richard Gordon, told the BBC. There are some areas that look like it has been bombed worse than World War II. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society has launched an emergency appeal seeking 20 million Swiss francs, 16 million pounds, $22 million to fund long-term relief efforts. A sixth child has died from injuries suffered in a bouncy castle accident in Australia last week, police say. Chase Harrison, age 11, had his life support switched off at a Hobart hospital on Sunday, 3 days after the accident. He was among 9 students who fell 10 meters or 32 feet from an inflatable castle when it was lifted up by wind at a school fair in Devonport, Tasmania. 2 children remain in critical condition in hospital. The other 5 children who lost their lives were 11-year-old Addison Stewart and 12-year-olds Zane Miller, Jai Sheehan, Jelila Jane Marie Jones, and Peter Dodds. One injured boy was discharged from hospital on Friday. He visited Hillcrest Primary School on Sunday and paid tribute to his classmates. It is still unclear how the incident unfolded. Police say they are investigating whether the castle was tethered to the ground. An increasing number of clubs are pushing for a shutdown of the Premier League until the new year in an attempt to deal with the growing coronavirus crisis, sources have told ESPN. Premier League chiefs have been informed that with rising case numbers being fueled by the Omicron variant, there will be support for suspending games until the weekend of January 8th to 9th, when FA Cup third-round ties are due to take place. It would mean postponing 4 rounds of league games beginning this weekend and continuing through weekend of January 1st and 2nd. Under the proposal, Premier League games would start on January 15th. While recognizing clubs are experiencing COVID-19 outbreaks, the Premier League said it was their intention to continue its current fixture schedule where safely possible, adding that the health and well-being of all concerned remains their priority. The Football Association has launched an investigation into an alleged racist incident during an Arsenal 4-1 Premier League win at Leeds on Saturday. Gunners substitute Rob Holding approached the 4th official in the 33rd minute, saying he had heard racial abuse from a Leeds supporter. Play was halted as referee Andre Mariner consulted with match officials and 1 arrest was made. Leeds condemned the incident in a statement released after the game. It said, quote, "Racism will not be tolerated at Leeds United, and any supporter found to be using racist language will be subject to a lifetime ban for all Leeds United games." Holding was praised by an anti-racism campaigner, Kick It Out, for reporting the incident. The Miss World 2021 Grand Final in Puerto Rico has been temporarily postponed after 17 crew members and contestants tested positive for COVID-19. The announcement was made on Thursday, 16th December, hours before the ceremony was scheduled to start. Quote, "Miss World 2021 temporarily postpones global broadcast final in Puerto Rico due to health and safety interests of contestants, staff, and the general public," the pageant said in a press release. The final will be rescheduled at Puerto Rico Coliseum Jose Miguel Agrelot within the next 90 days, it added. Julia Marley, the CEO of Miss World Limited, said, quote, "We are very much looking forward to the return of our contestants, who we have grown to know and love, to compete for the Miss World crown. All the infected crew members and contestants are under quarantine in Puerto Rico, where they're following the recommended protocol." Last year's plans were far advanced for Stoneboys' Beam concert, but unfortunately it had been cancelled because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thankfully, the show is coming back this year, and all is set for it to hold on Tuesday, December 21st, at the Grand Arena, Accra International Conference Center. Quote, "This year's concert will be an unforgettable one. A lot has gone into it. It has been 5 years running of doing this show, with this year included. Last year we could not do it because of COVID, so this year we have to do it. That is one of the reasons we themed it Beam of Hope." We do not want people to see this event as just a concert, but as a sign of hope, that even in our distress, we can still find a reason to make merry, have fun, and be happy. So in general, this year's concert means a lot to me, he stated.